Well, hello and welcome to another little video. I went on a walk this afternoon and just thought I had no intention of making a video, but in the end I did. There can be few games or pastimes, or I'm not even going to call it a sport, but I suppose you could loosely. More of a game, I think I would call it. But there can be few games where it is possible for anyone to become a world champion. Often sport needs an inordinate amount of dedication, time, practice, and all manner of things, money, and many people that go down that route devote their whole, particularly their early life, to doing that. But this is just one of those strange things where it's possible to become a world champion. It also encompasses one of my most favourite trees, so I thought we'd have a look at this bizarre issue of how anybody can become a world champion. So cue the video. Well, hello and welcome back to another video. I'm out and about today. I've come up to one of my favourite boyhood locations, shall we say, and I've come up to this rather wonderful horse chestnut tree. I'm not going to, I'll put the Latin name in text underneath. I do know it, but I'm not going to give some awful pronunciation of the Latin name. So it's a horse chestnut. It's a very fine tree. You know, I should think it's easily probably 150, 200 years, old. Horse chestnuts have had a bit of a rough time. It was not a native tree. I think it was introduced from southern Europe in about the 16th century in the UK. But it's a very decorative tree. It has those wonderful candelabra flowers at the end of April, early May. And then, of course, we all know what it produces. It produces conkers at this time of year. And this takes me right back. This is quite an isolated spot up here. Not many people know of this tree. It is on private land as well. But this was a favourite, conquering spot when I was a boy. Obviously, Conkers goes back quite a long time and has very many regional names and terms to it all, but a real Northamptonshire event, the conquering season, because in fact it was a very good friend of my grandfather's that in 1965, with a lot of other people as well, I should say, actually set up the World Conker Championships in a little village called Ashton, which is very close to the town, the small, very lovely town of Oundle in Northamptonshire. And the long and short of the story was they were going on a sea fishing trip, but the weather turned nasty and they sort of pulled out and thought, no, this is not good, this is not the right weekend, to go sea fishing. They used to have, it was all connected with a pub in Ashton, and this fishing group of men, and so they decided, somebody hit on the idea, and I'm not sure who it was, but they decided to hit on, why don't we have the World Conker Championships in Ashton? Because the green in Ashton was full of beautiful, really big horse chestnut trees, and in 1965 that's exactly what they did. As I say, the game of Conkers, I think, was first played or first recorded being played in about the 1840s in the Isle of Wight in the UK. It was something I did as a boy, very much so, and as I say, and the World Championship still goes on to this day. It has moved villages because it outgrew at the site that it used to hold in Ashton, and it's now in a similar village just a few miles north of Oundle, called Southwick, or if you want to pronounce it Southwick, but locally it's Southwick. And yes, it's usually the first or second weekend in October. It's the only world championship that anybody can take part in. I mean, Conkers is purely a game of luck, really. You drill your hole through. All the Conkers on the World championship, you know, day are prepared, and you put your hand in a bag and pick one out, so there's no cheating or baking a conker or leaving one from last year, so it's very hard. Everyone picks from the same bag, and it's really just a chance. And sadly, a few years ago, Conkers was banned in some primary schools for health and safety reasons, because they thought bits of conker flying off the string that you hold it up on was dangerous, which is very sad, really. Or some school made children wear goggles and protective clothing to play conkers, which I think is also a little bit on the sad side, because it's something I and all the lads of my era at school, we were fanatical on conkers. And you know, your conker, if you beat somebody, it became a oneer, and if it beat somebody else, it became a twoer. And you know, if you got a 5, 6 or 7 or 8 or even a niner, it was a real good conker that you'd got there. So this tree, we used to come regularly and pick conkers up off this, or climb up it. I'll show you the tree in a minute, because it's a beautiful tree. And I'm back here, and I'm going to pick a few, as you can see. Well, you'll see those, but I've got some lovely conkers here on the floor around me. So I'm going to pick a few up and put in my pocket. And you know, I love, if I move down here, there's one that's dropped out the husk there already, and look. They're beautiful things. They're so shiny and brown, aren't they? You know, they never seem, still to this day, and I'm really old now, they still don't disappoint me, conkers. The wood of the horse chestnut doesn't have a lot of value, really. It's quite a light wood when cut in the early spring, very much like a whitewood, almost like a holly type wood. But I think mainly in this country, I know other parts of the world use it for different things. In this country, we make like roll-up picket fencing out of chestnut, and it's very good for that. Like, you know, pails or stakes with some thinnish wire, and it can be used as a barrier for animals or a snow protection to keep the snow drifting off roads. So yeah, chestnut fence. It doesn't have a lot of, you know, wood use for the wood like oak, say, or ash even, but a beautiful tree. And sadly they've suffered a little bit, because in a lot of parks and ornamental gardens where they were, you know, planted, they've got to mature age, and some of the limbs get dangerous, and they suffer from this horse chestnut leaf miner, which sends them a bit, you can see, sends the leaves a bit rusty. And they also get like a canker type fungus disease as well, so that, you know, makes them a bit unpredictable. So a lot have been cut down there again, probably quite rightly, for health and safety reasons. So it's lovely to see a big old tree like this, and I shall pick a few conkers up anyway. So if you can see that, it's a beautiful tree. It's split into, you know, a wonderful trunk, and as I should think this is well over 100, probably 150 years old. You know, quite an old tree. If we come out, it's very windy, so probably a bit of wind noise. I mean, we have got, you know, a wonderful view from up here. I'm right on the top of the Nene Valley. So that is the river Nene down the bottom there. There's some blokes in tents fishing there, and I thought the fishing here was really kaput, but obviously I wonder if they're catching anything. Well, I don't know about that, but so yeah, you know, it's a wonderful view from up here, and so it's a wonderful tree. And look, you know, there's no need to climb the tree. If you want some conkers, you can literally just pick them off here. Look at that, they're dropping off in my hand. Lovely conkers, as I say. So yeah, the horse chestnut tree, as I say, this is a really old spot for me. And interestingly enough, one year when they hadn't got enough conkers around the Ashton area, obviously if there's a late frost and it cuts the flowers and the conkers don't set, they run short, so they put appeals out. And I did tell somebody about this tree, and I believed this tree was one of many that saved the day, that conkers were harvested off this tree to take part in the World Conker Championships at Ashton, as it was in those days. We are, as the crow flies, perhaps under 20 miles from that location, so we're not far at all, you know, and obviously we are still in Northamptonshire here as well. So there we go, that's the horse chestnut tree. A very fine tree it is too. I've got my conkers all ready and on the strings, so I can have a go later. I forgot to say that the Conker Championship over the years, obviously it's a fun event, but it you know, does have a serious side. You do get a trophy and you do become the world champion. See, people take it very, very seriously, but they have, since 1965, raised an awful lot of money for charity. The charity that it supports is the visually impaired, and which is a great charity. You know, people who haven't got a lot of sight or have lost their sight or are losing their sight. And I think over the years they've raised something like £420,000, which from a relatively small event on one day throughout the year is quite amazing. And as I say, I will put a link to their website. You can sign up there and have a go if you want to go over to Southwick and take part in this year's Conker Championship, which I think this year it's on the 9th of October, which is a Sunday. It's always the second Sunday in October. So if you'd like to have a look at their website, please do. Also conkers, I mean, some people swear by conkers. They reckon that they do emit a chemical substance, and I can't think off the top of my head what that is or what it's called, but they do say that this chemical substance keeps spiders away. Now, this hasn't been scientifically proven, but I knew a teacher that hated spiders and was really scared of spiders, as a lot of people are, and obviously you get a lot of spiders in classrooms in schools, and she'd put them behind cupboards and various locations and swore by it. I've known people also put them on boats, because boats this time of year, particularly in cockpits and that kind of thing, get absolutely full of spiders. You're on the water, and spiders love that. So who knows, that they might have, hidden properties. I think they're wonderful things, particularly when they're in the, shells and in the casing like that. To think that set, from one of those candelabra flowers in late April or early May, and has grown on over the summer, to produce these wonderful brown, shiny, superb conkers. So there we go, that's my little look at the horse chestnut tree and conkers, and how anybody can be a world champion. So as always, thanks for watching. Please do like, comment, please do think about subscribing. It really does help us, smaller channels, and I do thank everyone that has subscribed. And as always, until the next time, my best wishes and good gardening, and I'll catch up with you very soon. Bye for now.